Hey, thanks a lot. It's awesome to be here and, an honor to play after Elizabeth, who we've all been fans of her for a long time. We're going to do a bit of playing and then jabber at you in a bit. Here's one about falling in love with exactly the wrong person. Bit more fiddle in this monitor, thanks. Oh, mama, look what I have done. I gave my heart to someone. She got the hair like a burning sun. She got the eyes like a deep blue sea. She does not care for me. Here we go. Drink it too, she drinks black whiskey. Mama, I drink it too. She got the hair like a burning sun and a smile for everyone. Hey! She got the eyes like a deep blue sea, and she does not care for me. One more. Oh, mama. Shiny Gretsch guitar and an old Volkswagen car. She took me for a ride. She got a voice that carries the line. No, she got the hair like a burning sun and a smile for everyone. She got the eyes like a deep blue sea, and she does not care for me. Liquor don't kill me. Mama, I'll die in sin. Mama, I'll die in sin. Oh, mama, 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 oh, mama, mama, oh, mama, mama, oh. Hey, thank you guys so much. It's an honor to be here as a part of this conference. And, I know you're all kind of fresh-faced and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and you're just getting a feel for things. It's the first showcase. You're still rather delicate delegates at this point, not the hardened warriors you'll be on Sunday afternoon. So we'll try not to be hollering at you for this whole showcase here. During the course of a concert, I don't usually talk about what happens over the course of a concert, but tonight, because it's rather short, I guess I'd just like to tell you that usually I'd like to, tell of our various musical misadventures and also give some idea as to how I ended up playing the violin in this peculiar and rather strange way that I've come to care about quite deeply. And there's lots of different facets to how that happened. And a big part of it, as was mentioned, is I I was an apprentice of this wonderful violinist, Oliver Schroer, and when he passed away, he left me this violin, and before he did that, he sort of instilled his own peculiar and I think very beautiful kind of playing style, and I always like to sort of pay tribute to him at shows, and here's a tune, I guess that's largely influenced by his playing, and we usually play it near the end of the set, and I just tell folks it's a little bit about how we came to be here today. I've seen it all, boys. I've been all over. I've been everywhere in this whole wide world. I've run the High Line with old blind Darby. I've danced real slow with Eddie James. I was full of wonder when I left Vancouver. Now I'm full of hollow here on Maxwell Street. And I hope my pony, I hope my pony, I hope my pony knows the way back home. Walk from Natchez to Hushpakina. I built a fire by the side of the road. I worked for nothing in a Belzoni sawmill. I caught a blind out on the B&O. Tallulah's friendly, Belzoni ain't so. A 44 will get you 99. And I hope my pony, I hope my pony, I hope my pony knows the way back home. I've lived on nothing but dreams and train smoke. Somehow my watch and chain got lost. I wish I was home in Evelyn's kitchen with old Jip curled round my feet. And I hope my pony, I hope my pony, I hope my pony knows the way back home. I hope my pony knows the way back home. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. It's been a huge treat to be a part of this conference. We're going to play one last song here. And another huge influence on the music I make is all the time I spent living in South India, studying Indian classical music and learning the various drum syllables that you use there, which I've grown a habit of pairing those with archival samples of Albertan horse auctioneers and whatnot. But I'll tell you all about that later if you want to come hang out with us. We're here tonight, and then we're going to be here on, I think, tomorrow night in the whatever it's called downstairs in the full contact room. So we'd love to talk to you guys if anyone would like to talk to us. That's what'll happen. So yeah, here's a little improvisation, and I'd like to introduce the guys playing with me, two of my favorite human beings in this whole fantastic globe. This is Stephen Foster on the Arumpa Pum Pums, and you also heard Taylor Ashton there on the banjo. Thanks again, folks. Thanks to Kate and everyone here for having us.
Jaron, interesting, you know, when you're looking on your website and you talk about people trying to define your music, and I would say that it's very distinctive. Is it a bit of a surprise for audiences when they come to hear you, if they want to sort of put you into a category? I think that would be hard to do.
Yeah, well, I love it when people do. I always say, like, the artist himself or herself is the one. Yeah, I like it's kind of an obstacle course.
It is an obstacle course. That's okay.
I really think the artist himself or herself is the least equipped to define the genre or the category of their own art. Because, of course, to me, and I really think particularly being Canadian or any young colony, you know, it's really our business to just go after whatever music sounds beautiful to us or compelling. And so of course, we don't think of it as stuck in one genre. We think of my music is every bit of every genre that I like.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say being the opposite of everything probably seems to set you apart, though, in your field.
It's as close as we can get at a genre definition.
It seems to be a goal, right? So that's great. You talk about not being able to have a specific style when you play, but in your heart, where are your roots?
Well, I mean, I grew up playing fiddle music, and I'm a West Coast boy. Like, I grew up with one of my first bands. I was in a band with my mom and like 11 hand drummers. You know, extremely West Coast. Fiddle, bass, and 11 hand drums. So, you know, a lot of West African music is pretty deep in there also.
Yeah. You're just back from an epic tour, and I was reading a little bit about that as well. Talk to us about that.
Well, it was awesome. It was another one of those moments. I think as musicians, we often end up in this situation where it's like, wow, the life I'm living right now was the end goal for so many years. And you know, it's like, you have to remind yourself, this was the ultimate dream. Like, we played Winnipeg Folk Fest, Calgary Folk Fest, Dawson, music, all our favorite Canadian festivals, basically back to back, which was awesome, and went back to Europe. And I love Scandinavian fiddle music
Yes.
and did some studying there, and we did a bunch of touring to big festivals, and it was really awesome. And just, you know, the band, like usually I tour with a bigger band, and the band was amazing. We even had some new people who were big heroes of mine for years, and you know, it's not slowing down. We're going to Australia in a couple weeks, and you know, it's really just feels like a big blessing most of the time.
It's interesting you talk about Scandinavian fiddle music. What's different about that than maybe what a Canadian audience might hear?
Well, you know, I do try and avoid my shows from being too much of an ethnomusicology lesson, but basically they're based around this. It's kind of based around this traditional dance called a polska, where it's like they're waltzing, except one member of the couple has gum stuck to their shoe, so they twist around. But it's beautifully intentional. It sounds so random, but it's also perfectly aligned, and the music kind of sounds like that too.
So are we going to hear that now in some of your music as well?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we've been playing a bit of Swedish stuff, and it's really fun.
Wonderful. Oh, you talk about sometimes performing with a bigger band. So we were talking a lot about different show options during the course of the weekend as well. So for anybody out there who is booking, it's interesting to know that they do have some different options depending on their venue, depending on their budget. So talk to us about that a bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, it can occasionally be suicide if you give too many people too many options. But you know, we really do thrive on the variety. Like we, you know, really love theater spaces like this where it can be pretty tactile and really playing with the silence as a big part of the music, and even smaller, like really intimate places. And yet we also play a lot of dance parties and festivals and, you know, I don't know, public hangings, what have you. Like it's really, you know, we really kind of get into that too. And it's nice to have a band that can get really. Yeah.
They like that
you
one.
think I'm joking.
Maybe there's somebody out there going, oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, excellent. Now, have you played a lot in Manitoba before?
Not very much. The Winnipeg Folk Fest was basically our first time, and we did a couple other dates around there.
Well, we need to have you back, don't we?
Well, we hope so.
Jaron Freeman Fox, everyone. Thank you very much. And the opposite of everything.